Welcome to Inside the Firewall podcast, powered by CyberGlobal. Inside the Firewall goes beyond the headlines to uncover what it truly takes to protect businesses in today's fast-changing digital world. In each episode, we will bring you candid conversations with the CyberGlobal leadership team, security engineers, partners, and thought leaders who are shaping the future of cybersecurity today. From compliance and governance to real-world incident response, we'll show you how CyberGlobal's expertise and technology are helping organizations build stronger, safer, and more resilient foundations. Whether you're a business leader, IT professional, or simply curious about what's next in cybersecurity, you'll leave with insights and strategies you can put to work right away. Join us for this episode of Inside the Firewall, where innovation meets protection and the future of digital security comes to life. Here is your host, Justin
Welcome
Starbird.
back to Inside the Firewall podcast. My name is Justin Starbird, and I get to welcome back CEO of CyberGlobal USA, Ken Boyce, and Daniel Ciobanu, the co-founder of CyberGlobal. Guys, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
It's an exciting week for you right now. You know, you've had some explosive growth here through 2025, and you made the decision to put together a crowdfunding campaign on the WeFunder platform. You know, congratulations! It just kicked off. How are you feeling about it?
Pretty good so far. We launched on yesterday, and we have I think our capital raise is at the max of $5 million. But in the first week here, we're going to hit, we already have $250,000 in capital raise already. So we get a nice little note from WeFunder already saying, hey, let's chat. I think we've kind of sparked some interest from their side and why we're getting so much investments in already. So good start.
That's fantastic. Daniel, is it what you expected?
I think our great results till now, a little bit better than what we expected at the beginning, as we were, being the first in the industry, which is doing cybersecurity franchising. You never know what's on the other side, let's say, in the investor's mind. So far we had quite great results, and happy to see everything putting together, let's say, in the right way.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. So I got to ask, as the first cybersecurity franchise model that is truly global at this point, talk a little bit about what made you decide that the next step would be to put together a crowdfunding campaign instead of, say, having an individual investor or going to VC or some other traditional investing opportunity.
Good question. Scaling in the US is not like peanuts. There are other players which are doing cybersecurity services. So what we want to achieve and what we want to build, you actually need some reach. And you can be the best in doing the best technical and you have the best people in the world. But if you're not, right in front of the customer explaining what you do and how you do it, it can be pointless. You need some traction, you need some momentum, you need some investment, And we didn't want to go to the VCs because they are quite ruthless when it comes to the investment side, and they don't necessarily believe in what you want to achieve. So we wanted to go a little bit different because we started different from the beginning with the franchise model. So WeFunder and all the team at WeFunder helped us in actually pivoting the way towards the crowdfunding, which we are doing at the moment. So I think that was the point where we said, actually, Ken brought the idea of crowdfunding, and I think it's smoothly integrated with what we are doing and what we want to achieve from a vision perspective.
Yeah. Ken, that's a great point you brought up. I know we met a few months ago and you were sort of thinking through this whole idea. Of course, CyberGlobal is very community driven. You don't just focus on the Fortune 500 around the world, but also that mid-sized small business that maybe doesn't have the resources to implement a cybersecurity strategy. What did that, feel like to you to be able to open that up to your community?
Yeah, definitely. I think we're far more positioned from the sense of our cost structure and how we perform our services to be able to provide services to small and medium-sized businesses. where a lot of our competitors have not played in this pond, if you want to call it, and they focus more on the Fortune 1000, where we have done for the last 8 years. So they're really not in a position, or maybe even in a mindset, to want to play in this field. So in our pond, I guess. So that's why we just see so much opportunity. Seeing the same people every single day fighting for the same 1,000 companies gets kind of old, right? And it's really competitive, which then drives down your margins too. So now being able to go out and some of the new things, some of the new services we're offering too, are just outstanding of how we're going to be able to bring on, tens of thousands of new clients over the next 5 years in the business. So, it's really exciting to see. And the crowdfunding, we have a fire going. So, and Daniel can say is, we don't have any other owners in the company. We haven't sold any equity of our company. So, we have a lot of flexibility there. So bringing in the right type of investor group to help fuel our fire even better is great. And that's why this crowdfunding has really kind of fit us like a glove right now. So,
and maybe I can add something. So I think you can see the enthusiasm throughout our community. Once they invest, they reach out to us on LinkedIn. We have personal discussions, and it can be, the profile of the investor can be from somebody from cybersecurity, somebody from IT, because they understand what we want to achieve. And I would say really are two things which are shaping our roadmap. And if you look at the statistics, still SMBs are underserved when it comes to cybersecurity. That's a fact. They still don't get the right cybersecurity services. They still get that, book a call and let me give you the enterprise pricing once you book the call. They still have that on the website when it comes to the SMB side. And the second thing will be the distribution channel, which is a game changer that we want to achieve basically. As much as we don't like it, I would say, the personal relationship and being there and advising the customer on a personal level is as much as important as the technical side. You can have, as I mentioned at the beginning, the best technical solution, but if you're not at the right point in making it local to the company, it's pointless because they never hear about it.
Yeah. So let me ask you a little bit more about that, because you've expanded rapidly with, new GRC services. You're now developing the franchise models around the world. What have been some of the biggest milestones just this year, that you've been able to achieve that maybe you didn't think were possible even a couple of years ago?
So I would say when we started franchising the model last year, I think the first part was to validate that there is a traction, and what we are thinking is not only in our heads, in our brainstorming sessions, let's say. So the first part is definitely validated. We have traction more than we wanted. Now we are, whenever we are recruiting, let's say, a new territory, we are looking carefully to see that that person is a fit in running the territory itself. So that side is definitely validated. And how we polished everything internally, the processes, because we learned along the way. You're not born in knowing how to franchise cybersecurity services, and we learned a lot in making our processes and our procedures great, so that we can provide the same value to the franchisees, and for them to be very smooth in order to go to the final customer and present the services that we are offering. So that might mean, for example, expanding the service portfolio, the same service delivery, the quality of the services, making things more smoother, and in the end, the final franchisee on our side to have a great margin for the services that we are providing. We are still in touch. We are still doing the managed services, the royalties, and they are handling the customer acquisition and the customer management.
Sure.
So that's clearly defined on our side.
That's great. It's a really interesting timing in terms of, being able to launch this. I know, October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and it always, comes up that, there's some, data breach, or there's been some, ransom paid by a small company. And this year in 2025, there's been, unfortunately, exponential amounts of attacks relative to the most recent statistics in 2023, 2024. What made the timing of this important? Was that planned? I mean, to be able to launch the first week of October and really dovetail with all of the press around cybersecurity this month?
Of course, Justin, it was completely planned.
Yeah.
Daniel's laughing. No, I don't think it was exactly planned. It just kind of laid out. Maybe it's just another sign from above, or a sign for fate here of how things are going. But it's definitely, no, to answer your question, it wasn't planned. But it does work out well, is in the sense of given the exposure that we're going to have this month and launching here. So it does kind of match up well for us.
Yeah. I mean, and it's a great cap to the year as well, in my opinion, because you've had, double digit new franchisees come on board this year.
Right.
You have more customer growth than you've ever had before. It just seems like it's a really good time. Talk a little bit about, what are some of your goals with the crowdfunding campaign and what you're hoping to achieve.
Sure. Yeah. I guess it's like the fuel in the fire. I go back to the fuel in the fire, right? Is we've got a fire going. We've got 14 franchisees now. By the end of the year, we might have up to 20. Our goal is to have 40 to 50 franchisees by the end of next year. And we're kind of done franchising, if you want to call that. So, but, this is a business that for our franchisees, it's a very low investment for them to upfront, a low overhead to be able to carry cost. But one of the things that, as I say to our franchisees, is pushing the boulder up the hill is client acquisition. So getting new clients is tough, right? I mean, we understand that for the last 8 years. And that's why we subscribe to the partnership model, is to partner with companies that already have those existing client relationships, which makes it far easier for us to be able to go in and acquire those clients. So now our franchisees have adapted that and are, bringing on the accountants, the lawyers, any sort of industry that has sector that has a lot of clients. And to partner with these people cuts down the sales cycle. It cuts down the acquisition cost, and that's so. But advertising helps. One of the groups that we'll focus on is accountants, because they have great relationships. But I'll put a plug in here for accountingtoday.com. Great website, and it's not cheap to advertise on. Like ADP and a lot of big companies advertise here because they get a really good reach to accountants and all that. So, putting extra money into that wasn't really in our budget to be able to do those type of things, just to fuel everything for our franchisees. Because, every single dollar that we have in this crowdfunding is going to do that. So part of it's going to go back into the local advertising fund for the franchisees. Part of it's going to go into the advertising national to be able to grow and bring new partnerships on, and also back into the company to hire new resources, new people to be able, to support franchisees even more, but also supporting services that we're bringing on here in the U.S. and all that. So it doesn't matter. I've been in business 30 years. Doesn't matter how old or what size your company are. You're always looking for more funding, aren't you? To be able to go and develop. So this is just the first step, and then the next step will then help us get to that next level. And crawl before you walk before you run. That's what we have. That's the philosophy we have with our franchisees. But we're more than crawling now. We're definitely walking, and I think getting this funding is going to help us kind of run a little bit faster too.
We also have a bold vision, Justin. We have a vision in 5 years, as 200 franchises to be a distribution network in cybersecurity, the biggest one. So having such a big vision, you can go 20% per year growth. It's no room for that. Basically, we are at the crosspath, basically, where we have to really run. So in order to run, we need, you need several things: resources, capital. We have the vision. We know everything that needs to be done. We have the validation, which was made already from our side. So now we have to, put the gas on the fire, basically, and really run towards our vision for the next 5 years. Because now we are interested in our investors. We are interested in our franchises to make things work. Because without the concept of making the franchisees work, nothing works basically. CyberGlobal has the foundation of the franchisees, which they have to be successful. And having 200 franchisees which are successful, that's our vision, which now we are putting in practice.
Yeah. You mentioned previously that, there's an investment going to development as well to stay ahead of cybersecurity threats and, nefarious actors that are out there. What does that development look like for you? What's that next step? Right now, you have your own AI that you've trained and put on the not just on the defense, but on the offense as well to proactively protect your customers and clients. What does that investment look like?
In order to scale to the SMBs, exactly how Ken mentioned that, there are hundreds of thousands of SMBs which are underserved. You have also to optimize processes, technology side. So there are tools out there, but not necessarily to the needs that we need in the skill that we need. So for example, we already finished several products internally which assist us in providing the quality services to our customers through our franchisees, and this will eliminate the third-party costs that we have with different tools, because what you want at the end of the day is to keep our promises and to really deliver at the affordable and accessible cost to our SMBs and our channel partners as well. So we are investing massively into automation, AI on our side, and making sure that with the time that will come, maybe 80%, now we are 80% manual, 20% automation, and maybe, the things will change in the future and we have 80% automation and 20% manual. And basically this will allow us to be very competitive on the landscape and really have an intellectual property when we are battling with the, let's say, big boys from the industry.
Yeah. Well, that's really exciting to hear, because of course nobody wants to wake up and as your intro video points out, that you get some notice that somebody's infiltrated your business. It is a scary feeling. So, with that said though, how does investing in the CyberGlobal crowdfunding campaign go beyond profit? How does it go, and impact the broader mission, if you will? What does it mean, for companies to have that peace of mind that their company is protected, versus threats, or if something does get breached, that they have a partner like you guys to actually help get fixed or come back from that.
Good. Yes, sorry, Ken.
We like to compare it to other aspects in life. A lot of business owners really don't understand cybersecurity. It's just like, well, what is that? And they understand the premise of protecting their company and all that, but like comparing it to car insurance, you don't have to buy car insurance. You should. And if you get in an accident, you're gonna be happy you do. But most people do, not something they want to do. Life insurance, sitting there, you want to protect your family in case, unfortunately something happens to you in an accident and all that. So, explaining to the small, medium-sized businesses that, listen, if a cyber criminal does a major attack on your company, and let's say they steal all your customer database, and you don't have and you didn't do the right things, and they steal everything and all the data, literally you're out of business. And that's unfortunate unless you pay the ransomware. So it's just really saying, working with small businesses and medium-sized businesses, say, this is what you need. It's not what you want. Let's get what you need first and then work into the pace where you get that protection there. So that is so important for our growth because, it's like you said, Justin, it's just not about money. It's, when our franchisees get in front of their clients, they feel good at the end of the day. It's like, I'm protecting this company. I'm helping this company away from these cyber criminals and all that. So, we're all in business we have to make our revenue. We have to pay the expenses and we have to make money and all that. But it's not a bad feeling when you get up every day when you're actually doing something good for companies and help protecting them from those threats that are outside what who open a company thinking that they're going to have a threat that they're going to get shut down by cyber criminal? I don't think anybody does. So it's in most companies in the U.S. when it comes to small, medium-sized businesses, it's really a lack of education too. Is just, they just don't understand, and they need somebody like us, somebody like a local person to educate them, where it's not a technical person where it goes over their head. And they're like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. Can you just put it in layman's terms for me so I can better understand it? So yeah, it's really exciting to be part of that journey for me, because I'm not technical. Daniel's very technical and all that. I'm more business development and franchising and all that. But learning more is I had no idea before I became a partner with CyberGlobal that what threats are out there. It's astonishing, actually.
Did you want to add anything to that, Daniel?
I think one of the reasons why it was so hard for SMBs to get cybersecurity services is exactly how Ken mentioned. It was too technical, very hard to understand, also very expensive, but too technical. And having somebody localized near you and explaining, your local advisor explaining why it's important, like a life insurance, to have, starting from $6 per employee and you are 24/7 protected. I think this matters quite a lot in the decision-making process.
Yeah. Well, that's so exciting, guys. I'll get you out of here on this. When, this campaign expires and you've reached those goals, what does CyberGlobal look like in, 6 months and 12 months and 18 months?
Well, my perspective is that it's building the distribution channel and supporting the distribution channel, is being able to help the franchisees and us too get in front of as many people as possible in exposure. I'm a numbers guy, so the more people you can get in front of, the more companies you can get in front of, the more potential business you're going to derive from that, right? It's simple numbers game. It's just math. And being able to take these funds to be able to help the franchisees to probably spend some extra dollars on things that they didn't have in their budget is huge. It's huge in their growth, especially as we're, just an emerging franchise in that. So we use this analogy all the time, fueling the fire. That's really what it is that, if every company had endless capital, they keep spending it to do that. And this is why crowdfunding is going to work so well for us, because now, we can share in the success with people that are investing with us, and then put the money in the pocket of our franchisees and the advertising that, we want to do to be able to help accelerate the growth. So 6 months from now, after this, wow, we've got plans, as we already discussed, and then stay tuned. And then we can give updates on, here's where we're at now after 6 months. This is what it helped us to do. It's going to definitely be a very exciting 6 months.
Daniel, I see you smiling. I know that you're excited as well. What does it look like for you in 6, 12, 18 months?
I remember of something. That's why I smiled in a discussion with you and with you, Ken, and the fact that we will be buying Lambos. No, that's something which we won't be buying. Regarding the investment, it's not part of our milestone whatsoever. So everything goes in the company only on in making it a real success. Still, again, I'm having that vision in mind. I'm seeing a map full of green with our branding colors. Yep. The greener it becomes, the better we'll be. Successful franchisees alongside us. And now that we are in the investors game, let's say, right? Now that we founded and we have investors already trusting us. Now we have a duty in making sure that every milestone that is achieved, we will make sure that we'll be celebrating together with our investors, and everything will be very transparent. Where we are heading, where we are at, the good and the bad, I would say.
Yep. Hey, that's great. I think that's really what everybody wants to hear, is that the mission is bold, it is big, it is exciting, but there's a day-to-day plan to get there. Absolutely. And what you're doing to bring cybersecurity opportunities to small, medium-sized businesses is really unheard of. And then to do that in a way that's, utilizing franchisees to go deeper and wider into their local networks, I think is such will have such a profound impact. So, Daniel, Ken, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Likewise. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Justin.
Well, it's exciting. In order to find more information on this opportunity, go to wefunder.com/cyberglobal. On behalf of Ken Boyce, CEO of CyberGlobal USA, and Daniel Ciobanu, co-founder of CyberGlobal, you've been listening to Inside the Firewall. Until next time. On behalf of our host and our guest today, thank you for listening to the latest episode of Inside the Firewall, powered by CyberGlobal. To hear more episodes or learn more, visit us online at the link below or via our social media channels.